All right, everyone. Today we are breaking down a seriously visionary strategy. It's called Star Nations. And it's a plan that totally rethinks who should be in control of our most advanced technology and, why that control actually matters for all of us. So let's just dive right in with a big question, the one that sits at the absolute heart of this whole thing. Because when we talk about data, what are we really talking about? We're talking about the digital version of a community's story, its history, its very identity. Okay, so the first step here is to really get our heads around the core problem this project is trying to solve. For centuries, Indigenous information, we're talking everything from cultural knowledge to personal records, has been collected, stored, and controlled by outsiders. You can think of it as a modern form of colonialism, where data has become the new land to be mined and controlled. Now, just look at this number for a second. 23 to 30 million. That is the estimated number of residential school records that are still waiting for Indigenous-led governance. You see, managing this isn't just some IT project, it is a fundamental act of reconciliation. It's about healing the past to build a stronger future. This quote right here, it just reframes the entire issue, doesn't it? We're not talking about abstract ones and zeros sitting on a server somewhere. No, we're talking about a living, breathing extension of culture, of identity, and of the land itself. And when you see it that way, well, that changes everything. So if data really is the new land, how in the world do you govern it? Well, before a single line of code gets written, before a server even gets plugged in, Star Nations lays down the non-negotiable rules of the road. And these aren't just suggestions. They are basically the constitution for a digital nation. It's all built on this incredible framework called OCAP. That stands for ownership, control, access, and possession. It's a concept that's both simple and revolutionary. And it ensures that Indigenous communities are always in the driver's seat. They own their data, they control it, they decide who gets access, and they possess it, full stop. And working hand in hand with OCAP, you've got the CARE principles. That's collective benefit, authority to control, responsibility, and ethics. So if you think of OCAP as setting the rules of control, CARE really defines the purpose behind that control. It makes sure the data is always used for the community's benefit, and with a deep, deep sense of ethical responsibility. All right, so with those powerful principles set in stone, let's get to the really cool part, the actual tools Star Nations plans to use. This is where all those ethics get turned into real, functional, cutting-edge technology. The architecture is this visionary three-layer cake. It starts with a solid foundation, right? Data centers, physically located on Indigenous land. Then, it adds this super sophisticated AI layer that's all about protecting privacy. And finally, it reaches for the stars, literally, with Earth-independent computing up in orbit. Now, what's really genius about this is how they solve the privacy problem. This approach, called federated learning, is kind of like sharing improvements to a recipe without ever giving away your secret family ingredients. The raw data never leaves the community, but the collective wisdom, those model improvements, it grows and grows, benefiting everyone involved. And here's the thing. Instead of trying to go head-to-head with the tech giants, building these massive, insanely expensive AI models, the strategy is just smarter. It focuses on smaller, highly specialized language models. They're way more efficient, much easier to control, and can achieve incredible accuracy for specific things, like preserving a language. And look, this isn't some far-off pipe dream. The roadmap shows just how ambitious, yet totally concrete this plan is. It kicks off with a solid foundation on the ground in 2026. It goes out and validates the market, and then it just steadily builds towards a sovereign, fully operational presence in orbit by 2032. But is this just a really cool tech dream, or is it a viable business? Okay, let's look at the numbers, because this plan is also designed to be a powerful engine for creating sustainable, generational wealth. First, let's look at the future. This is the projected size of the global orbital data center market by 2035. So, why space? Well, it offers the ultimate security and sovereignty, completely free from terrestrial borders and laws. This isn't just some niche idea, it's a massive technological wave, and Star Nations is positioning Indigenous communities to be leaders, not just followers. But you don't have to wait until 2035 for this thing to work. Back here on the ground, this number represents the value of Canadian federal contracts already being awarded to Indigenous businesses every year. This is huge because it provides a key, stable source of early revenue to get the whole project off the ground. So you combine that early government revenue with the growth in commercial services, and this is what you get. a projected annual revenue for star nations of $99 million by 2032. This number shows a clear, viable path to profitability and to true economic independence, which can fund the mission for generations. The business model itself is just incredibly resilient. It's not banking on just one thing. It's built on multiple, complementary streams of revenue that grow and evolve over time. Everything from those government contracts all the way up to high-tech orbital computing services. And this is where the story really comes full circle. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal here isn't just about profit or technology. It's about having a transformative impact on people, on culture, and on communities. And that's exactly why the most important metrics of success here aren't just financial. They measure reconciliation in action. We're talking high-tech jobs created, languages being preserved, historical records finally being brought home, and real wealth being distributed directly back to the communities that own the data. And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative thought. The Star Nations plan isn't just about playing catch-up in the digital age. It's about leading it, but with a different set of values. It asks all of us to imagine what becomes possible, what kind of world we can build when ancient wisdom finally gets to guide our technological future.